Hi, good morning. Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to be with all the audience today. I'm talking to you from sunny Miami in South Florida. I will ask you to, we have a small corporate video presentation.
Patagonia Financial Holdings is a private equity firm based in Miami, Florida. Patagonia is a leading investment firm focused on value-oriented investments. We concentrate our efforts on achieving the right mix of capital, time, management, and operating experience to make successful investments. Providing services for over 2 decades, our ability to quickly adapt to changing market environments is a key factor in our strategy to drive the potential of our portfolio. Seeking solutions for its clients, Patagonia also offers certain investment opportunities that qualify under different immigration programs in the U.S. and other countries around the world. Patagonia is affiliated with American Regional Center Group, which maintains a 100% immigration approval in all the different programs, such as EB-5, E-2, and other types of visas. We protect our investors by conducting an extensive due diligence through Elevate Capital, a FINRA-registered broker-dealer. We also provide projects monitoring and redeployment advice through Patagonia Wealth Advisors, a registered investment advisor. Our services build bridges between projects and investors and include deal structuring, due diligence, private placements, financial and immigration regulatory compliance, deal monitoring, asset allocation, redeployment advisory, immigration analysis and strategy. With over $1 billion in investments across the U.S. and Latin America, Patagonia has a wide portfolio of investments in the following sectors: real estate, residential and multifamily real estate, commercial real estate, consumer technology, renewable energy, food and hospitality, film production, sports and entertainment. Simplify your life. Choose a partner that can adapt to your needs. Choose Patagonia. Invest, work, and live in the United States. We are your business ally in the USA. Patagonia Financial Holdings. Invest with us.
So I'm gonna, go a little bit faster in the first few slides because you all have been able to see that in the video, which is who we are. Obviously, as the video was explaining, we're a financial group based in the U.S. that mainly is a private equity group that has also a division of immigration by investment. Other firms of the group are a broker-dealer, a registered broker-dealer in the U.S., a registered investment advisor, and a series of funds, which you can see one of them there in the slide, which is Patagonia Real Estate Fund, and which obviously is a real estate fund. Some of the sectors also you've seen, besides the ones that you saw in the movie. We also do wealth management, obviously, and infrastructure, and the rest you've seen them in the movie. So what is exactly what we do here at Patagonia? Well, first of all, we're investment driven. So our first approach is to identify projects, to create or to find value in investments that are not easily found in the common channels or by just picking up the phone and calling your broker or calling your private banker, or looking online to see investments through the public markets in the different stock exchanges around the world. So project identification for us has a lot of sense. And project identification is something that comes with time and experience and contacts. So we have, I've been as an investment banker more than 25 years doing this job, and after deploying more than $1 billion in projects, obviously our company has developed contacts in different sectors, as you saw in the video, that allow us to identify unique projects that are not available into the market. So once we identify those projects, obviously we do a market analysis of the project and the industry where the project is located. We do comparisons. We do SWOT analysis. We do we talk to providers, customers. We look at if what we're doing represents something that is disruptive in the industry to create value. And once we check all those aspects and we feel comfortable with that, then we obviously start what is called the due diligence process by checking doing background checks on all the managers or the members of the board of the company, a legal due diligence to review the correct corporate structures of the companies that we're looking to invest. And obviously part of that due diligence is also financial due diligence to see how the company is being funded so far, what are the first experiences that the company has had in the market. And once we determine that, then we step into the structuring phase. And in the structuring phase, we analyze the capital needs of a project, of a company, and then we decide the different buckets in which a certain project can present itself to the market. Not all the projects will have an immigration alternative, and I know that our audience today is very interested in immigration alternatives. But sometimes a project is good by its own merits, and unfortunately, because the way it's structured, the way the project has its own objective, the way the capital stack is structured, there is no place or there is no space for an immigration component. But when we find it, then obviously we add it to the private equity, the lending, the immigration by investment, and we combine all that into our efforts to finance and to find capital for that company. And that's what creates the different products, the investment opportunities. So the investment opportunities might have that that immigration component or might not have that immigration component. But the base of each product that we look for has an investment analysis behind. So it has to make sense, it has to be attractive, and it has to make sense for the client. So obviously then there is the other aspect of our activity, which is meeting and sitting with the clients. And our approach to the client is very personalized. So first of all, we listen. We listen because each client, each family has different needs, has different composition, and different backgrounds, different objectives, different financial capabilities. So that's what we do first. We listen. We listen to understand how we can best incorporate our activities, our advice into that relationship. We look at the motivations of clients, and motivations could be really, could be really broad, could really vary between one family to the other. Some families are looking solutions just as financial diversification. Some other families are looking for education and opportunity. Some other families looking for quality of life. I once had a Chinese family that the main objective for them to look for an alternative that had an immigration component was the quality of air, because one of their kids had suffered asthma. Sometimes they're looking for political and economic stability, which is most of the cases. Not necessarily, as the previous presenter explained in the video that she played, not necessarily to make a radical change, but a lot of times the main concern is to have a plan B. And a plan B it takes time to prepare, it takes time to deploy, but you want to do it when you don't need it, because when you need it, it's too late. And sometimes when you need it, when you urgently need it, then the time that it takes to put it together and to execute can be a hassle for the family. Another motivation is personal security. A lot of people, unfortunately, in different parts of the world have suffered that personally or a family member. And some other cases are family links. It has happened to us many times where we see an older generation wanting to come closer to a younger generation that has migrated many years ago for study purposes and never went back to their countries of origin. So that's, having families coming together is also an important motivation that a lot of people have. Or simply the ease to travel. We all know that it's not easy to find, to apply for certain visas for certain countries. And obviously the ability to either travel to your preferred destination, be that the US or Europe, without any restrictions and for short or extended periods of times, that is also a big motivation for a lot of people. So we tailor solutions to the specific needs. Once we have listened the family, we understand their motivations, we tailor solutions for the unique background and what they're looking. And our solutions are, and our output, let's say, is solution driven. It's not product driven. It's not that I have these products and this is what I'm offering today, and I'm here to sell your product. I'm here to build a solution for a family. So that's why we want to highlight that we're not products driven, but solution driven. And after all, a lot of members of my team come from the private banking experience. So for us, the concept of concierge coordination is very important. It's where, because, usually when you're looking at investment and then you put on top of that an immigration process, things tend to get complicated. And not everybody knows of everything. You need to engage different specialists. We have, most of that in our in-house, or we bring that expertise from independent providers, but we coordinate everything to the client. So the client has one point of contact, one point of communication, and is not constantly bombarded by 3 different people, projects, immigration attorneys, government officials, trying to get different type of information. We provide that concierge coordination for the clients that work with us. So in our company, we concentrate mainly on the US. So for the US, obviously, we facilitated in our work visas, residencies, and citizenships. You can see some of the visas that we work with. Usually in the US, you divide these between immigrant visas, which gives you a residency, which is a pathway to citizenship later on. And then you have, and those are immigrant visas. And then you have non-immigrant visas, which are visas that allow you to stay in the U.S., allows you to come to the U.S., but are temporary, meaning that you need to renew them. So we work with visas like E1, E2, L1. The E1, E2s, they are treaty visas. So, in order to access those type of visas, you have to come from a country that has a treaty with the United States. L1 is called an intercompany transfer visa. So if the background and business experience of the applicant is meets certain requirements, then we can go through that visa. And then we can do also EB1s, EB3s, and EB5s, which are all immigrant visas. So those are visas that go directly to a residency or a green card status. And sometimes we combine this with other programs. We are an official marketing agent for the government of Grenada, where Grenada offers also residency and citizenship in two versions, one through investment, another one through a donation. And we also have an important real estate development right now in Portugal, which qualifies for the residency and citizenship in Portugal. So with that, I just want to, step into and give you a more concrete idea of the type of projects that are in our portfolio and that we can work with. And the first one I want to talk to you about is Juan Valdez. We have a strategic alliance with Juan Valdez. Juan Valdez is the cooperative of coffee producers from Colombia. So it's the best quality of Arabica coffee that you can find in the world, and by its own foundations as a cooperative is truly the story of the product from the producer to the consumer, that has, at least in the US, a very interesting market, with an industry that it keeps growing and is expected to keep growing for the next 5 years. 25% of the market is highly fragmented in the US. Obviously, you have one player that is the dominant player, which is Starbucks, but Starbucks has also its deficiencies, especially in quality and in reaction to certain local markets. And then you have 79% of the industry revenue that is consumed away from home. So these are people that go to coffee shops rather than the normal consumption of coffee that you have in your houses. You've seen also a market that has shifted preferences lately. You have incorporation of new products into coffee shops, and as I was mentioning before, you have a market like the US, which is 4 times the global average of consumption of coffee than any other part in the world, and a market that is roughly $84 billion market. So the brand Juan Valdez is a brand that is very well known. I hope, I don't know how many Juan Valdez have you seen in your area or in your countries of residencies, but Juan Valdez has been present since 1960. It's in 32 countries around the world with more than 8,000 points of sales. And because of the recognition of the importance of the American market, obviously Juan Valdez at present has a very aggressive and interest in growing the American market. So we have an exclusive agreement with Juan Valdez to start developing coffee shops in the state of Florida, in the state of California, in the state of Minnesota, and then those are more or less the East Coast corridor, the West Coast corridor, and the Midwest. and from there then the rest of the country. But just for the Florida project, which we estimate probably the opening of 185 coffee shops, where we're talking about a projected EBITDA in 5 years of roughly $42 million for the company. That is an IRR, obviously very attractive. That it's around the 70% IRR projected. So with this project, and because our involvement and participation with this project, we have managed to create different venues of participating with them. Straight capital investment, E2s, EB5s, direct, indirect EB5s. So that's something that we can play in different ways. Another company that we work with very closely is Nectar Greenlight. Nectar Greenlight is in the film production business in the U.S. This is also a market that is a lot of people know and see how the film production market has been affected with COVID, because movie theaters have closed, are not opening, not operating. But there is another part of the business that hasn't suffered at all, actually has grown tremendously, which is the streaming content. So even before COVID, streaming was already picking up a lot of space and creating a lot of demand. Streaming services and consumption of production has represented a $16 billion market last year in the US. And the US market represents in streaming probably 40% of the worldwide market. So Nectar Greenlight is a combination of the art of producing, the art of directing with a financial component. These are people that have done, that have a track record of over 20 years in the film business. They have had, Oscar-winning movies like The Revenant, international acclaimed movies like Focus. They have won also Toronto Film Festival, the Palme d'Or in Cannes Film Festival, so not only is a very reputable team of people that operate in the industry, but we have determined two ways of investing with this company, which is what I want to really talk about. On one side, we can do production finance, and production finance is a very risk-adverse type of finance. A lot of people, when they think about production finance, they think, I'm going to invest into a movie, and who knows how many tickets they would sell in the theater or how much money it's going to produce. These people take a different approach to that. They have obviously a very healthy and long-standing relationship with very important clients like HBO, Netflix, Warner Brothers, Amazon, and what they do is that they pitch ideas to these companies and they pre-sell projects. So let's say that the project has, a budget of $500,000 to make a streaming type of movie. In that case, they pre-sell the rights of that movie, let's say for the American market, for that amount of money. So production doesn't start and money at risk doesn't start until they have a contract, until they know that they're going to cover the cost of production with the first sale. And then what they do as the production advances, and these movies usually, especially the TV and the streaming movies, they're productions that take probably 8 to 9 months from starting to the post-production. So when they're getting closer to post-production is where they turn around and they start selling those same rights, those same royalties to different clients for different territories, because you can be selling Netflix the US rights but you can be selling Amazon the Latin American rights, or you can go and sell to Televisa the Mexican rights, or to Sky the European rights for a certain movie. And usually these contracts have a turnover of approximately 3 years. So it's a nice way of procuring revenue every 3 years that makes this type of investment really interesting and in the low double-digit type of returns. The other way we invest into this industry is through what is called tax credit finance. So when you have a production in the US, you can go to the actual state where you're going to be shooting that movie or doing that production, call it the state of California, the state of New York, the state of Georgia, which are the most active in this business. And all these states within their budget, they have allocated funds to incentivize this industry, film production. And they do that obviously because film productions create a lot of jobs. It's an intensive job creator, even if it's project by project. But I don't know if any of you have experienced watching the behind the scenes of a production. A lot of people involved in a movie production. So production companies usually they go and they apply for these tax credits, which usually they can cover between 20 to 30% of the budget of the movie. And obviously the states, the only requirement that they have is that the budget is spent in the state where they're applying for the tax credit. So these movie production companies, what they do is that they turn around and they go to the market and discount those tax credits. And meaning that they sell those tax credits at a discount of the face value. So if they have a tax credit that is for $200,000, maybe they go and they sell that tax credit for $180,000. So that's what we do. And because the risk of repayment is not with the movie production anymore, but with the state, we have an excellent credit quality mix in that portfolio, which is between A to AAA. Returns that are uncorrelated to the market, so they don't tend to follow the actual financial markets. And we have a considerable yield pickup because if a typical municipal bond or debt from the state is paying 1 to 2% today in the market, we can make through that discount, we can make probably 8 to 7%. So it's another very interesting way of allocating. So with Nectar, it's also another company that that provide us the opportunity to structure these investments in different ways, without immigration and with an immigration component. Next project that I want to show you is more in the technological area. It's called CarSaver, and it's called CarSaver at Walmart because it's a joint venture with Walmart. And I don't think I have to talk very much about Walmart. It's one of the biggest retailers in the world. But this platform is directed to the auto industry. And believe it or not, yes, Walmart, it's been a year and a half or almost 2 years that has stepped into not only selling groceries, but also other services. And in this case, we're talking about cars. So the platform operates in the car industry. And the automotive or car industry in the United States is a huge industry. It's represent $1.3 trillion. With units of cars sold, new cars, 16.5 million every year, 41 million of used cars. And the other important number in this slide is the amount of money that is spent in advertisement and incentives. So it's very frequent that I don't care where you are, in what part of the world, you're gonna see that if you turn on the TV, 1 out of 3 advertisement is advertisement of a car. So there's a lot of expenditure that goes into from the manufacturers or the dealerships into acquiring a client through advertisement. So the platform is a very unique platform. What it does is that it's web-based, it's completely web-based, although CarSaver has locations, physical locations inside of each Walmart. At the moment, they're in the process of creating 1,500 locations inside of Walmarts. That gives CarSavers approximately over 1 million square feet inside of the most trafficked commercial area in the United States, which are the Walmarts. And it presents to the customers of Walmart through those locations, but also through online, because if you go now to Walmart.com and you go to the different departments that they have, you will see CarSaver there, or you can just type www.carsaver.com and then you will find the platform. What the platform does is that allows you to achieve a better price, either for a new car or a used car. It allows you also to sell your car. It has an agreement with Carvana, which is the company that absorbs the used cars. And also there are other partners into the company, such as Ali Bank, which is one of the largest financial institutions that finance cars either through loans or leasing. With Liberty Mutual, which is a huge insurance company. So in one platform, in one transaction, you can choose, compare, and get the best price of your car, insure your car, and finance your car too. So you practically go to the dealership just to pick up your car. And they even have a function where if you don't want to go to the dealership, they deliver the car into at your house. So that's also another company that is part of our portfolio. We have grown with that company since the very beginning, since it was a startup. Today the company is probably worth has a market capitalization of $250 million. The last project that I want to mention is our internal real estate fund. This is also something very unique in the immigration by investment, because it gives clients, first of all, a fund structure. So meaning a diversified real estate portfolio. So you're not choosing just one project, but you're exposed to multiple real estate projects. It provides that the same concept of the one point of contact, that private banking approach. It does have low double-digit returns or IRR, expectation of IRR. It provides you multiple immigration benefits because it allows you to apply for a U.S. green card, an E2, a Grenada passport, and a Portugal visa at the same time. And it gives you fast access to the U.S. or to Europe. For the American market is configured in a way that it doesn't represent a TA risk, which is the denomination of a certain area, and a determination also of how much money you have to spend, you have to invest in order to get your green card. It doesn't because it's a fund structure that constantly clears out and invests out. Doesn't have any redeployment risk to go to unknown strategies. It has a clear exit strategy of how the client can redeem and get out of the fund. Our sister company, American Regional Center Group, has 100% of immigration approval rate in all the products that they have that they do. And the fund comes with strategic alliances with one of the bigger developers in the US, so that secures a certain sourcing and deal flow for the fund. These are some of the projects that the fund is involved with. Just to give you an idea, for example, the one in the top left is a multifamily project in Fort Lauderdale. Then we have a multifamily project, the first one is 388 units. The other one is 366 in Fort Lauderdale. Then we have another multifamily, 288 multifamily units in Miami, in the Coconut Grove area. And another is 444 units, more in the southern part of Miami towards Dadeland Mall, for those that knows Miami. And so these are some examples of the multifamily projects. The fund has a mandate to invest in multifamily, residential, commercial, and that's just as an example of the type of projects and the type of investment that the fund do. So with that, I finish my presentation. I hope that it has created a lot of questions in your mind, a lot of doubts in your mind. As I said before, we're here to listen, to hear your needs. Those are our contact information. You can call us, WhatsApp us, email us, go to our website if you want. Come and visit us in Miami. It's always a good excuse. With that, obviously, Anastasia, I'll give it back to you, and I'll be standing by if anybody has any questions. I invited people, if you want to look at the presentation, contact me or my staff, and then we will email you the presentation. Is that what you need? But the purpose of this is not to get too much into the details, but rather just to give you an overlook of what we do.
I think definitely with the type of investment that you're dealing with, it's always the investor has to contact you, go into the details, go through all the return on investment. This is not something that can be answered during the webinar.
Yeah, exactly.
So thank you very much. It was definitely very interesting, and I love when you can see actually real investment, not just immigration solution, but when there is a real investment coming up. So all our wonderful attendees, please pay attention to the details on the slide and contact Gonzalo for any questions that you might have.